guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another UFC preview and predictions. This weekend the main event is Rozenstruik taking on Gane, two up-and-coming heavyweights. Look for a chance to break in the top 5. A very good fight over there. It is a pretty solid 11 fight card, maybe 12. Who knows if Alex Oliveira gets a fight. If he does, check out my prediction in the comment section down below. But yeah, let's get into this one. And folks, if you have not yet, make sure to subscribe button down below for more UFC here on the channel. So first up, in the light heavyweight division, we've got Grishin taking on Dustin Jacoby. Let's start here with Grishin. So his last fight was a win over on, it was on a fight night. It was on Ortega and Korean Zombie over at Fight Island, and he got a win over Krylov, knocked him out in the second round. That was the second fight in the UFC, but his first fight at light heavyweight in the UFC, because his debut in the promotion was a heavyweight fight against Marcin Tybura, who is a guy who should be in the top 15, probably. Like, if you're looking at the rankings right now, I don't believe he is ranked, but he's like number 16 if you're gonna say a top 20 of a division. I mean, Tybura is up there in the heavyweight rankings, just got a pretty big win over Greg Hardy. But yeah, that's been the Grishin UFC run so far. He fought over in PFL, he went undefeated over there. He did have 2 draws, but he did not lose over in PFL. And yeah, he's been fighting for a pretty damn long time. Has Grishin been fighting professionally since 2008, has a current record of 31 wins, 8 losses, and 2 draws. 2 of those draws coming from PFL, right? And PFL have their weird 2-round fights, so you're gonna get a lot of draws there, right? So Grishin coming to this one, really good stand-up game for Grishin. This should be a stand-up fight. I don't anticipate this one hitting the mat. Both these guys are not great on the ground, and Jacoby's a good striker, Grishin's a good striker, so this will be a stand-up fight. Basically, it's who do you think is going to be able to outstrike the other. Grishin, though, a very talented striker, very talented fighter overall. Let's talk about his opponent, though, in Dustin Jacoby. So yeah, Dustin Jacoby comes back to the UFC after 9 years, and comes back, wins in the Contender Series, and then beats Justin Ledet most recently on Halloween by TKO. Now, I believe in the graphic on the screen, it won't say that Dustin Jacoby had his first run in the UFC. I do believe I have that at 1-0. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure I do. Given he did have a first run in the UFC, he went 0-2, lost to Clifford Starks and Chris Carmozzi, lost both of those fights, got cut by the promotion, won a couple fights, won in Bellator, and then got a shot on the Contender Series, and of course beat Ty Flores over there. He won the fight by unanimous decision, but Dustin Jacoby looked good like in the first 2 rounds, and the third round was terrible. Both of those guys gassed. Again, they're throwing a lot of volume in that fight, but Jacoby did not look very good at the end of that fight. I do believe the judges gave him all 3 rounds, but still, it wasn't the best performance. I was kind of surprised he did get a contract. I thought it was going to be one of those Dana White's, well, you know, you'll come back and fight again on the Contender Series, but he got 30-26, 29-27, and a 29-27 performance out of that one. Almost had Ty Flores out of there earlier on in the fight. And then the Justin Ledet one was pretty huge. He was a pretty big favorite going into that fight. He was expected to win that one. He got the job done, and then got rid of Justin Ledet basically in the UFC. So it's Jacoby and Grishin here. 2 guys, really good strikers, very powerful punchers here. You saw that Grishin has fought at heavyweight before, weighed in given at 220, but still, you got a lot of guys, both these guys with a lot of damn power in their hands. So as for prediction, I'm gonna go with Grishin in this one. I just really liked what I've seen out of him in the past. Given the Tybura fight wasn't that great, but that's what Marcin Tybura does to everyone. Drags him up against the clinch, or in the clinch, against the fence, and puts him away. Okay, I know Krylov isn't the best win for Grishin, but you got to look at Dustin Jacoby. His win in the UFC is Justin Ledet. So both these guys have wins over guys who are no longer in the company, and it's hard to assess that. But Grishin looked pretty good in the Krylov fight, man, and I really like what he's got on the feet. Now, if it hits the ground, I gotta give an advantage to Grishin. We have seen in the past over in various promotions that he can get finishes on the ground. He doesn't do it often, but if it does end up on the ground, I think Grishin will have an advantage. Given, I don't think it will. I think it'll be a stand-up fight, and I think Grishin has got enough to put away Dustin Jacoby in this one. I think he'll knock him out. I'm going to go a TKO finish for Grishin. He will join Muhammad Lal in being the only man to TKO Dustin Jacoby. So next up, we have got Vince Cachero taking on Ronnie Lawrence. Let's start here with Ronnie Lawrence. So coming over from the Contender Series, did get the job done in a fight that he was not supposed to win. He was not supposed to beat Jose Johnson. That one was a big underdog in that fight and got the job done by unanimous decision. Well, how did Ronnie Lawrence get to the Contender Series? Well, he fought in 2019, got a win over in LFA, took about like 15 months off, got the fight with Jose Johnson, and wins in the Contender Series. So it was a really weird ride to the UFC for Ronnie Johnson. Before that, picks up a win by KO, and then takes 3 years off before that. So Ronnie Lawrence, excuse me, starts his MMA career in 2015, picks up a couple wins in 2016, fights again later in the year in 2016 for Bellator against Steve Garcia, loses that fight, and then takes a whole 3 years off, comes back, picks up 2 wins, the second one being with LFA, then takes another year off, then fights on Contender, and now he's in the UFC. Again, a really weird ride for Ronnie Lawrence, but what have we seen from Ronnie Lawrence in the past? Pretty good stand-up game. His ground game is not bad at all, but I would say the stand-up game is the advantage, or is Ronnie Lawrence's best part of his game. Currently holding a record of 6 wins and 1 loss, but again, some of those are coming from 5 years ago at this point, right? So you gotta look in the last 3 years for Ronnie Lawrence. He's 3-0, 2 big wins, 1 in LFA and 1 in the Contender Series, both in fights he was not really supposed to win. And there you go. Ronnie Lawrence taking on, though, Vince Cachero in this one. So Vince Cachero's last fight was a loss to Jamal Emmers over in August. He lost that one by unanimous decision, and then before that, got his way into the UFC by beating Marvin Garcia over on LFA in January of 2020. Got the job done by ground and pound, and then got the call in the UFC. Before that, his 2 other fights previously in LFA, it's a loss to Casey Kenny. Got KO'd in the first round. That's going to happen to you when you fight Casey Kenny. The man's about to fight Dominic Cruz, the greatest 135-pounder of all time, in next week. And then the fight after in LFA, lost by split decision. Then beats Garcia, then gets the call to the UFC, loses to Jamal Emmers in a fight that, given he was not supposed to win either, and Emmers got the job done there. So Cachero's first 6 fights, though, in his professional career, come from a lot of wins from LFA. 4 of his first 6 wins were all in LFA, and the man can get finishes. He can get finishes on the ground, he can get them on the feet as well. So Vince Cachero, a very good all-around, well-balanced fighter, currently holding a record of 7-3. So it's a fight here with Cachero and Lawrence, a guy, Vince Cachero, who has lost 3 out of his last 4 fights. One of them being, or 2 of those losses being in LFA, and you got Ronnie Lawrence, who hasn't been the most active. I mean, this is going to be his second fight in the last 2 years coming up here against Cachero. So it's a very tough fight to call. It should be a very fun fight because both these guys know how to push the pace on the feet. So I would anticipate a stand-up fight. It should be a very good stand-up fight in this one. And I'm gonna go with Ronnie Lawrence to win this one. I just like what we have out of Ronnie Lawrence compared to Vince Cachero. You just gotta think about what these guys have done recently. Cachero's lost 3 of his last 4, and I know the levels of competition is very high. Casey Kenny, Jamal Emmers among the others. And Ronnie Lawrence, again, the Jose Johnson one was huge, and then when you go to the regional promotions, I get he's beating guys that were 2-0 and 5-4, but if you beat a guy like Jose Johnson over the Contender Series, a fight you're not supposed to win, beat him down for 3 rounds by unanimous decision, I think he's going to be Vince Cachero on this one. I know Cachero fought Jamal Emmers, and Emmers is pretty damn good, but I'm just going to take Ronnie Lawrence. Again, it's what have you done recently, and Ronnie Lawrence fits the bill for that. So I'm going to go with the Ronnie Lawrence decision win in this fight. So next up, we have got Will Knight taking on Alonzo Menifield. Let's start here first with Will Knight. So coming into this fight with the record of 9-1. His last fight was a pretty big win over Alexa Kamur, dominating that fight. Left Kamur in a pretty bad way in that one. Over on Adesanya Costa, UFC 253, over on Fight Island. That was his debut in the promotion. Before that, he got a win over against Cody Brundage on the Contender Series. Got the job done by TKO in the first round, and that's all the UFC experience we have so far. Oh wait, he fought in the Contender Series back in 2019. Again, a long time ago. Won that fight by TKO in the 3rd round. Did not get the contract. Goes on, fights a couple times over in the regional scenes. Takes on Jamel Jones, wins that one. Fights Stefan Chukwi, which not a very very good fight. You're fighting Stefan Chukwi, a very good fighter, gets KO'd in the first round. That's going to happen to you. And then he beats Rocky Edwards by KO later on in 2020, and then gets the call back to the Contender, wins, then fights Alexa Kamur. 25 days later, picks up the win by unanimous decision. Will Knight holds knockout power. This guy is looking to shut the lights off. It's that simple. He's not going to take a fight at the ground. He is looking for that one knockout punch, and frankly, that's what Alonzo Menifield's going to be doing in this one. This is going to be a slugfest. Both these guys are going to throw everything they have into every one of their punches, and it's going to be a good one. Now, does that set up for not the most entertaining fight? At times, maybe not, but I think Will Knight and Alonzo Menifield, they're going to go for this one. And I know Alonzo Menifield's been a little bit hesitant in the past, but I think it's going to be a good one here. Knight coming into this fight with 7 KO finishes. The only 2 wins, one is a submission win and the other is a decision win, of course, with that record of 9-1. So that's William Knight, the power threat. Let's talk about his opponent, and Alonzo Menifield. So Menifield's last fight was a fight against Ovince St. Preux that happened. I thought he was going to win the fight. Did not happen. OSP put him down in the second round over on Overeem and Sakai in September of 2020. And before that, he fought Devin Clark on Fight Night headliner now. And Devin Clark, he lost that fight by unanimous decision over on UFC 250. That, of course, was Amanda Nunes and Felicia Spencer. And to think that Megan Anderson is getting a title shot next week. What the hell are we doing? And Felicia Spencer is fighting, I forget it. She's fighting someone. That just got scheduled. They have 4 fighters at 145. What are we doing? Okay. Before that, though, for Alonzo Menifield, he beat Paul Craig by KO, and before that, he beat Vinicius Moreira by TKO over in Brooklyn. Cejudo Dillashaw, the first ever ESPN Plus card. Now, Vinicius Moreira's run in the UFC was not very good. He's been cut by the promotion, just lost to Ike Villanueva most recently. It was not a fun ride for Vinicius Moreira. I know we fought Menifield, Anders, Craig, and Villanueva, but yeah, I mean, you go 0-4, you're gonna get cut. Now, Menifield gets the job done there, and then before that, wins in the Contender Series. Starts his career off 9-0. Picks up 2 wins in the Contender, a lot of wins over in LFA and RFA, gets a win over in Bellator as well in 2015, Bellator 146. So it's a pretty solid run for Alonzo Menifield. Now, the Devin Clark fight, a little hesitant in that one. Same with the OSP fight. OSP put him down the second round. It was not a very good fight for Alonzo Menifield at all. A lot of people thought Menifield was going to get the job done because OSP's coming off a fight against Ben Rothwell where he looked all right. I mean, he put down Rothwell in the very late in that fight, but it was a fight that you thought OSP was good. It was a fight that you thought there's a chance OSP could lose. And that's what happened in the Jamal Hill fight, right? So Menifield's got to go for it in this one because William Knight's going to bring the pressure to him. I mean, if Menifield doesn't step up and throw, Knight's going to do so. So it's going to be 2 power fighters slugging it out. It should be a good one. And for my prediction, I'm going with William Knight. I like what I saw in the Alexa Kimura fight. He beat Alexa Kimura down, and I'll be the first one to say I picked Alexa Kimura to win the fight. It did not happen, but Knight looked very good in that one. And yeah, Alexa Kimura did have his moments, but William Knight really controlled this fight for the most part of it. I mean, he knocked down Kimura in points of that fight. It was a really impressive performance. I think we're going to see the same in this one. I think he's going to KO Alonzo Menifield. I think we're going to get kind of something like the situation in the OSP fight. I think Knight will put down Menifield in this one, give him the win by KO. So next up, we've got Alexis Davis taking on Sabina Mazo. Let's start here with Sabina Mazo. So last fight was a rear naked choke win over Justine Kish over on Watterson and Hill in September. And before that, she beat JJ Aldridge by split decision, beat Shanna Dobson by unanimous decision, lost to Marina Moroz by unanimous decision, and that's been the UFC run so far for Sabina Mazo. She was the former LFA flyweight champion. Of course, she gave that one up after she made her way into the UFC. Currently holds a record of 9-1, and Mazo, pretty good overall fighter. There we go. Her stand-up game's pretty damn good. All around, top 15 fighter in the weight class. I don't think she's ranked. She should be. I don't know why she's not. I mean, currently coming to this one with the 3-fight winning streak, of course. The wins over Shanna Dobson, okay. I mean, say what you want about Shanna Dobson, just lost her last fight to Casey O'Neill. Did not look very good in that one. And yeah, she barely scraped by JJ Aldridge. But the Justine Kish fight, pretty big win. Rear naked choke, and I know Justine Kish, not the greatest, but still, it was a good win for Sabina Mazo. And yeah, let's talk about our opponent here, though, in Alexis Davis, the former title challenger, the former pay-per-view headliner in Alexis Davis. Yes, don't forget she fought Ronda Rousey over on UFC 175. Actually, she wasn't the headliner. I forgot. It was Weidman Machida, but still, they were the co-main event. And yeah, I mean, that didn't end too well, did it? She got KO'd in like 16 seconds. It was pretty bad. Yeah, just you gotta watch it. It was 16 seconds. It's pretty fast. It's on YouTube. But yeah, Davis comes in the UFC, picks up a couple wins, coming over from Strikeforce, pretty big wins. Over like Shayna Baszler, right? Comes in the UFC, beats Liz Carmouche, beats Jessica Ai, loses to Rousey, beats Sarah Kaufman, loses to Sarah McMahon, beats Cindy Dubois, beats Liz Carmouche. Pretty big win at the time because Liz Carmouche would go on to actually get a title shot, beats her by split decision over in Fresno, and then loses to Kaylin Kuchagian, Jennifer Maia, Viviane Araujo. And I know what you're thinking, well, okay, Alexis Davis is on a 3-fight losing streak. Look at her record. She's 19-10, so not great, but you gotta look at it, man. Alexis Davis, the fighters she has fought, Kuchagian, Maia, Araujo. All right, Kuchagian and Maia have gotten a title shot, and Araujo's about to fight Kaylin Kuchagian for a potential, I wouldn't say title shot, but I mean to get in like the top 3, because we know Andrade is next, and there's a lot of fighters at the top of the 125-pound division. None of them are gonna beat Valentina, but it's all right. But yeah, those are pretty damn good fighters, and Sabina Mazo is a little bit of a step back. I know she's like borderline top 15, so it's a fight that Alexis Davis can win. Now, she's not getting the respect from Vegas in this one. She's really not a really big underdog in this fight, and for good reason. She has lost her last 3. She has not won a fight since 2017. So it's a tough one to call because Alexis Davis, all around, a pretty good fighter. She's really good on the ground, and if she can drag Sabina Mazo to the ground, she might have a good chance to win this one, but we saw in Sabina Mazo's last fight against Justine Kish, her ground game is improved from the last time we saw her in the JJ Aldrich fight. So it's a tough one to call, but I'm going to go with Sabina Mazo. I think she's going to be able to keep the fight standing, and that's it. If she can keep the fight standing in this one, she's going to beat Alexis Davis. Alexis Davis' striking, let's be honest with ourselves, is not very good. But now, if she can get you to the ground, she can beat you. So that's what we got to avoid here, of course, with Sabina Mazo. I mean, I think her stand-up game is a lot better than Alexis Davis. Now, her ground game has improved, and I just said that, but you still got to give the advantage to Alexis Davis on the ground. So this is a very tough one to call. Again, not getting the respect it is. Alexis Davis not getting the respect from Vegas is a way closer fight than the odds do reflect. And again, it's because Alexis Davis is on a 3-fight losing streak, but look at the names she has lost to. And I know those fights really have been close, but stick with me here. She's not a bad fighter at all. And yeah, she probably shouldn't have won the Liz Carmouche fight either, but still, Mazo, there's a chance that Alexis Davis can give this fight to the ground and submit Sabina Mazo. I don't think it's going to happen. Mazo is going to be able to stuff the takedowns. I don't think Alexis Davis is going to find a way to get this one to the ground for a long period of time. Mazo is going to get the job done. Unanimous decision. So next up, we've got Thiago Moises taking on Alexander the Great Hernandez. Let's start with Thiago Moises coming off that fight against Bobby Green over on Halloween. I'm going to keep it real with you. I thought Bobby Green won that fight. I don't know how all the judges gave it to Thiago Moises. When I heard, what was the final score? It was 29-28, 29-28, 29-28. When I heard that, I was like, all right, Bobby Green won the fight. No, they all gave it to Thiago Moises. What was going on there? I do not know. But yeah, he's coming off a 2-fight winning streak because the fight before that, Michael Johnson did not look very good in that fight. Well, I take that back. He looked good in the first round. In the second round, just got caught. Stand on the ground for too long with Thiago Moises, you're gonna get submitted like that with the Achilles lock. Now, that's where Alexander Hernandez has got to avoid in this fight. He can't go to the ground. He cannot, because he has the advantage on the feet. He definitely does, but on the ground, Thiago Moises is very damn good. 6 submissions so far in his career, and he will put away Alex Hernandez if the fight goes to the ground. Moises also, first fight in the UFC was a fight against Beneil Dariush, but come on, you're fighting Beneil Dariush in your first fight. That is very tough to go do. And then, yeah, of course, the record of 14-4 for Thiago Moises. This is all you gotta need to know. He's very good on the ground. On the feet, he's good, but Alexander Hernandez will have the advantage on the feet compared to Thiago Moises. And yeah, Moises coming over from the Contender Series. That was in 2018. Got a head kick knockout over there, and I know you see the head kick knockout. Still, Hernandez's last fight kind of showed he's still a pretty damn good striker, and I know he got knocked out against Drew Dober and Cowboy Cerrone, but we'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, Moises, again, 14-4. Let's talk about Alexander the Great. So yeah, Hernandez, last fight was a win over Chris Grismacher, is a fight that he had to have. I mean, that's the fight you gotta win. KO in the first round on Halloween, Holland Silva. It was a fight that was designed for an Alexander Hernandez victory. How did we get there? Well, he starts off his UFC career, he beats Beneil Dariush, fakes the glove tap, gets the job done, KOs him in 40 seconds over on UFC 222, over in Vegas. Tremendous win. It was the big story, basically, of Cyborg Kunitskaya, except for the Brian Ortega knockout of Frank Yeager, but still, it was a pretty big highlight of that card. After that, he beats Olivier Aubin-Mercier by unanimous decision, and then here we go. You're in the top 15, you call out Cowboy, you talk some mad crap to Donald Cowboy Cerrone, coming off a couple losses, Cowboy's back at 55, and, well, he just gets TKO'd, gets head kicked, and it wasn't a very good performance for Alexander Hernandez. He just didn't really throw anything in that fight, and Cowboy was back. It was the first fight card on ESPN. It was on the undercard, but still, I mean, it was one of those fights. It was the main event on ESPN to try to get people to buy ESPN Plus. It was basically the co-main event when they did the press conferences. So it was a big fight for Hernandez. He was on all the press conferences with Dillashaw, with Cowboy, with Henry Cejudo, and he gets finished. Okay, his next fight comes back. He's fighting at home in San Antonio against Francisco Trinaldo. He threw like 12 strikes in that fight. Trinaldo threw about 20. Thought Trinaldo won the fight. It was a very bad fight. If you want to go watch it, you want to waste 15 minutes of your life, go watch it. It's not a very good fight. I don't know how you score that fight 30-27 though for Alexander Hernandez. That's where 2 of the judges had it. Chris Lee, I think, was one of the judges. Don't quote me on that, but he might have been. It was a terrible fight. They gave him the decision because it was in San Antonio. He had a big speech after. I'm back, baby. He threw 12 strikes in that fight, give or take. Okay, fine. You come back, you lose to Dober, you get TKO'd. then he beats Grutzmacher. Okay, the Chris Grutzmacher fight, it was a fight, again, said it before, he had to win, and he looked very good in that fight. And that fight shows, all right, Hernandez he's still a top fighter. Now, he's still a top 20 fighter, maybe top 15 in the weight class, because the fights, in order, Cowboy looked terrible, Tornado looked terrible, Dober points in the first round looked all right, and the second round gets finished. The Grutzmacher fight, cannot stress enough, that was a big turning point in the career for Alexander Hernandez. He's going to ride that momentum into a win here against Thiago Moises. Now, how does he lose the fight? It's pretty simple. Moises takes him down and finishes him on the ground. If you make one mistake against Thiago Moises, we saw this in the Michael Johnson fight, you will lose the fight. Moises will find any opportunity to submit you. Boom, the Michael Johnson fight, Achilles lock, finish. It's a fight, it's a very tough fight for Alexander Hernandez, but I think he'll be able to get the job done. He's got to avoid the ground game, and he's just got to keep this one standing, and I think he'll get the job done by decision. Just a quick random fact here. Both these guys, the last two fights, were on the same exact card. Alexander Hernandez and Thiago Moises, of course, both fought on Halloween on Silva and Holland. And before that, they both fought in Jacksonville on the Smith-Teixeira card. Before that, though, they fought on different cards. Just a random fact right there. But yeah, we're going with Alexander Hernandez to get the job done by decision. Next up in the featherweight division, we have got Kevin Croom taking on Alex Caceres. Let's start here with Kevin Croom. So his last fight is technically a no contest against Roosevelt Roberts, but he got the job done by rear naked choke in 30 seconds. He was a plus 435 underdog in that fight. He puts him away in 30 seconds. Holy crap, he was not supposed to win that fight. He was not supposed to be Roosevelt Roberts on that Watterson Hill card, but give it to him. He got the job done. And before that, for Kevin Croom, fought in a lot of different promotions. I mean, you got the Bellators of the world, but yeah, LFA as well. You've got CES, you got Shamrock, you got Titan, RFA, a lot of different promotions for Kevin Croom. Somehow made his way to the UFC. Overall record for Croom of 21-12, could be 22-12, but weird Nevada State Athletic Commission for the last one, but still. 1-0 in the UFC, I'll say he's 1-0. I mean, submission, 30 seconds in, pretty big win for him right there. Riding currently a 4-fight winning streak. And yeah, Croom, very good submissions. Very good. Also, can get the job done on the feet, but he's got to try to submit Alex Caceres in this fight. We've seen in the past Alex Caceres can get submitted, i.e. Kron Gracie. And I know Kron Gracie's jiu-jitsu is a lot better than a lot of people on this planet, but we've seen in the past Caceres can get submitted. And we're not talking about like the masters of Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the world. I mean, he's been submitted. Like, he got subbed by Jason Knight. And, like, come on. He got subbed by Bare Knuckle Boxing's own Jason Knight. Not what you want to see, right? So Kevin Croom definitely has the potential to submit Alex Caceres in this fight. On the feet, could be tough because Caceres' stand-up game has gotten a lot better. I mean, given this dude went 5 rounds with the Yair Rodriguez on the feet and lost a split decision, a fight that I thought he could have won. It could have gone either way, but yeah. I mean, he went 5 rounds with Yair Rodriguez in a main event, his only main event to date. Pretty fun fight. Go watch that one. It was in Utah, 2016. But yeah, Caceres' stand-up game is very good. So I don't like this fight for Croom if it stays standing. I like it if it hits the mat, though. And I know Alex Caceres is dangerous off his back sometimes. But yeah, you got to give the advantage to Croom on the ground, but on the feet. This is definitely Caceres' fight on the feet. So again, Croom record of 21 wins, 12 losses. But a lot of those come from a long time ago because he's been fighting for a damn long time. He's been fighting since 2009. People are going to talk about it. He fought Justin Gaethje back in 2011. They're definitely going to bring this up in the broadcast. It was Justin Gaethje's first ever fight, and Gaethje got the job done by a slam a minute in. So they're going to bring that up a lot. But yeah, he fought Justin Gaethje, 10 years ago to this point. Different fighters, and again, if they fought again, the result would be the same. I don't think Gaethje would slam him. But yeah, there's that wrestling from Northern Colorado University for Justin Gaethje. But let's move on to Alex Caceres, and Caceres has been very good recently. Ever since that loss to Kron Gracie over on Ngannou Velasquez over in Phoenix, he's been on a roll. Beat Steven Peterson by unanimous decision over in San Antonio. Beats Chase Hooper on UFC 250. Dominates that fight. And then beats Austin Springer by rear naked choke in the first round. He's on a roll right now. And it's Alex Caceres. You're going to look at the record. You're going to see 17-12. All right. The dude's been fighting the UFC since 2011. He's getting up there for most fights ever in a UFC career. He's been fighting for a damn long time. His first fight was on Nogueira versus Phil Davis over at the Key Arena in Seattle, Washington. We are talking a very long time ago. Also in this card, Anthony Johnson beat Dan Hardy. I forgot that fight happened. All right, it's been a while. Johnny Hendricks was on the Facebook prelims. So it's been a while, all right, for Alex Caceres in the UFC. Hey, he was on the Facebook prelims as well. And he's fought the best of the best. I mean, you want to look over the names. Sergio Pettis, okay. Uriah Faber. You fought Uriah Faber. Yair Rodriguez. You got Croom Gracie. You've got all these great fighters he has fought in the past. And he's been in the UFC for now 10 damn years. And now, I mean, hell, Caceres is only 32 years old, and he's been in the UFC for 10 years. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. It was GSP and Koscheck. He won the first two rounds there, and then he lost to Michael Johnson in the quarterfinals. In this fight, though, I do like Alex Caceres to win this one. I really do. I think if you can avoid the ground game with Kevin Croom, and it's not like an automatic thing, well, Croom's going to win this fight if he does it to Matt. No, I think Caceres can definitely fight his own on the ground, but especially on the feet. This is Alex Caceres' fight to win in the stand-up realm. He's going to win this one on the feet. I definitely think he will. Now, Croom could definitely catch him with like a guillotine like he did to Roosevelt Roberts. Caceres I think he's just too good enough to be caught in that. I really don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to go Caceres by unanimous decision. I think we're going to kind of see what happened in the Chase Hooper fight. I wouldn't say as dominant, but in the Chase Hooper fight, man, let's talk about a little bit for that fight. Let's talk about that fight for a little bit. So there's points in that fight where Caceres is beating down Chase Hooper, and sometimes Hooper goes for like some half-hearted takedown or tries to pull guard, and Caceres just kind of falls with him. He can't do that with Kevin Croom. And I know Chase Hooper's ground game is very good. Croom probably on the same level as Chase Hooper, maybe a little bit better. He can't do that with Kevin Croom, though. I think he just avoids the ground game just as much as he can. Keep the fight on the feet. Alex Caceres, unanimous decision victory. So next up, we have got a fight over in the women's strawweight division. We've got Angela Hill taking on Ashley Yoder. Let's start here with Ashley Yoder. So her last fight, she did go beat Miranda Granger by unanimous decision over in November on the Felder dos Anjos card. Pretty good win for her. I thought Miranda Granger was going to have a pretty good chance to win that fight. Ashley Yoder just dominated. Okay, before that, she loses to Lavinia Renata Souza by unanimous decision, loses to Randa Marcos by split decision, beats Siri Kondo by unanimous decision, beats Amanda Cooper by split decision, loses to Mackenzie Dern by split decision, loses to Angela Hill by unanimous decision. Again, this is a rematch. Loses to Justine Kish by unanimous decision, and then that's how she got the start in the UFC. Yeah, Ashley Yoder's been fighting a lot in the UFC. Now, the run has not been great, but look at the names again she has fought. Hill, Dern, we'll put Randa Marcos in that conversation. Randa Marcos currently, I do believe, holds the most fights in UFC flyweight history with Jillian Robertson and Roxanne Modafferi. I'm pretty sure that's it. But yeah, so Yoder's 8-6, and don't let the record fool you. She's a pretty good fighter, but she's fought some pretty good fighters in the past. Her ground game's pretty damn good, though. Ashley Yoder's ground game, that's where she has to take this fight. We've seen in the past Angela Hill has been submitted, but her stand-up game is very good. So Yoder can, it's simple, man. This is a striker versus grappler fight. It's that's how simple I can take it. Ashley Yoder's never been finished in her career, so there's that. Only lost by decision, but she's got to get this one on the ground. She cannot afford to stand for Angela Hill. It's gonna be like what happened in the first fight. Angela Hill's just gonna dominate on the feet. That was in the Ultimate Fighter show over in 2017, so it's been a while. Actually, it wasn't on their season, I do believe, though. Yeah, it was on the Gaethje Michael Johnson card. The Jesse Taylor Diego Lima fight, right? That was the Ultimate Fighter show finale on that one. But yeah, Yoder loses that one. This is a rematch. Angela Hill's a big favorite for good reason. A lot of people thought she won her last two fights. I thought I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, Yoder, 8-6. Let's talk about Hill in full. All right, back to those decisions, right? So the last one for Angela Hill was that fight against Michelle Waterson. Let's talk about the Gedalia fight first. I thought Angela Hill won the fight. I picked Claudia Gedalia to win that fight, ended up getting it right, but I definitely thought Angela Hill got the job done. Now, the Michelle Waterson fight, I thought Michelle Waterson won. I picked Michelle Waterson to win the fight. I thought I had it 3-2 for Michelle Waterson. That's how one of the judges had it, the other one had it 49-46. I thought it was either 3-2 for Waterson or 4-1. I didn't see how you give Angela Hill 3 rounds in that fight. I really don't know how you give her 3 rounds in that one. So I thought that one was pretty obvious that Waterson won it. The Gedalia fight, definitely, though, I thought Hill won. Before that, for Angela Hill, she beats Loma Lukbani, she beats Hannah Cyphers. Again, Angela Hill's one of these fighters who's been fighting the UFC for a long time. Made the promotional debut in 2014. I know she got cut, though, after losing to Rose Namajunas. Picks up 4 straight wins over in Invicta. Comes back, and they're like, all right, yeah, you can fight Jessica Andrade. Loses that one, beats Yoder, loses to Nina Askarov, beats Marina Moroz, loses to Courtney Casey, loses to Randa Marcos, beats Jodie Escobar, loses to Yang Jianan, and then, yeah, back to the most recent run. Angela Hill's fought nothing but killers at the 115 weight class. I do believe she holds the most fights. She has the record for most fights at 115. She's definitely close. Yeah, she's tied with Randa Marcos, so she's gonna break it again after she fights on Saturday night. Currently holds the record of 12-9, but again, you've talked about the fighters she's fought. These are the losses. Tisha Torres, Rose Namajunas, Jessica Andrade, Courtney Casey, Yang Xiaonan, Claudia Gadelia, and Michelle Watterson. Come on. I mean, those are all top 10 fighters for the most part. I mean, yeah, pretty good fighters. I would say Courtney Casey's not really on that level. Randa Marcos, maybe not as well, but still some pretty damn good fighters. Angela Hill has fought. She should win this fight against Ashley Yoder. She really should. Now, if Yoder gets her down in this one, it could be trouble for Angela Hill, because again, she has been submitted in the past. One is to Rose Namajunas. The other one is to Randa Marcos, but Marcos is pretty good on the ground, and Rose Namajunas is probably challenging for the title, or is it Carla Esparza? Who knows? That should be announced very soon. We'll see who is fighting Zhang Weili for the title soon, but yeah, Angela Hill, even if it does go to the ground, I think she'll be able to avoid a submission attempt. Or if Yoder does attempt a submission, I think Angela Hill will have enough to get out of it. I don't see Yoder just like controlling this fight on the ground for 3 rounds. That's how I think she most likely gets the job done in this one. Just holds Angela Hill down, looks for submissions, but doesn't get it. I don't think Hill will finish Ashley Yoder, because Ashley Yoder is very hard to finish. Again, she's never been finished in her 14 pro fight, so I'm gonna go with the Angela Hill decision winning this one. I think she probably wins all 3 rounds. I think Yoder will have some moments on the ground in this fight, but I'm gonna go with a predominant performance here for Angela Hill. Next up, we've got Jimmy Rivera and Pedro Munhoz. I've already talked about this fight. It was just like 3 weeks ago that I talked about it, so we're just gonna roll that footage there, and then I'll come back to you guys for the final 3 fights. Now, this is a good one. Trust me, this is a good one. We've got Pedro Munhoz, Jimmy Rivera, 2 former headliners of Fight Nights. A very good fight here. It's that simple. A very good fight. Let's start here, though, with Jimmy Rivera. Got back on track with the win over in Abu Dhabi in July. He won by unanimous decision over against Cody Stamann. Before that, lost to Peter Yan by unanimous decision. That's gonna happen. He's the champ. And before that, lost to Aljamain Sterling. Well, that's the guy's about to fight for the championship. So, yeah, I mean, not too bad losses at all. Before that, beats John Dodson, who's now at the UFC. And before that, beats Marlon Moraes. Lose to Marlon Moraes, gets head kicked in the main event of a fight night in New York. Well, Marlon Moraes, former title challenger, so there's that. And before that, beats Thomas Almeida and Uriah Faber back-to-back, Yuri Alcantara. And then the first Pedro Munhoz fight was close. That was back in 2015 over in São Paulo, Brazil, over on Vitor Belfort versus Dan Henderson, number 3, and Vitor Belfort won that fight by head kick. And to think Dan Henderson, after that fight, somehow got a title shot against Michael Bisping. I know it'd be an old Hector Lombard, but yeah, that fight happened. Imagine a day, man. I mean, props to Bisping. I'm glad he won that fight, but just like Hendo was number 14 going into that fight. You're never gonna see that again. Not for a while, I don't think, unless like Brock Lesnar comes back and fights John Jones or Stipe. I mean, who knows? But yeah, Rivera, right, on that card, beats Pedro Munhoz barely by split decision. It's a close fight, but again, this is 6 years ago at this point. It's just not what you can put into that fight way back then, right? And since then, yeah, Jimmy Rivera has looked good in some of his fights. Now, the fights that he hasn't looked great, Marlon Moraes, he got head kicked in a minute. Less than a minute, right? The Aljo fight just got dominated for 3 rounds in that one over in Arizona on Ngannou Velasquez. Yeah, I mean, just kind of got dominated on that one. 30-27s across the board in that fight. In the Peter Yan fight, UFC 238. More the same. I think you could make the argument Jimmy Rivera did win a round in that one. I thought Peter Yan probably won 30-27, but whatever, you can go either way on that. And the Cody Stamann fight, hey, dominate Cody Stamann in that one. Just pretty impressive performance in that one, all 3 rounds pretty easily in that. Thing is, he takes on a pretty good fighter than Pedro Munhoz, who does a lot of power in his strikes. And I know he lost to Frankie Edgar, who that fight against against Sandhagen, yeah, that was unfortunate. That was kind of sad to watch. I'm not gonna lie with you, I was kind of sad after watching that. And then we got the 7-minute M&M commercial. That was lit. Okay, yeah, that's Jimmy Rivera. Current record currently, though, of 23-4. Let's talk about his opponent, though, in Pedro Munhoz. So yeah, Pedro Munhoz's last fight, the Frankie Edgar fight. A lot of people thought he won. I thought Edgar won. Just a really good fight. Both guys throwing a lot in that fight. It's a Frankie Edgar fight that goes 5 rounds. A lot of volume in that one. What are you gonna expect, right? Munhoz before that loses to Aljo. I mean, pretty dominant performance by Aljo. Just puts a beating on Pedro Munhoz in that one and just wins all 3 rounds, because that's at the point, right, where Pedro Munhoz is on a big high. And I was really surprised they didn't put that fight on the main card. Like, they put Blagoy Ivanov and Tai Tuivasa on the main card over this fight. Yeah, right? I mean, this is Aljamain Sterling, who's gonna fight for the title next, right? against Pedro Munhoz, and at the time, Pedro Munhoz just beat Cody Garbrandt and KO'd him on UFC 235. One of the bigger cards was John Jones, Anthony Smith, but also, like, that was the Ben Askren debut card, that was Woodley Usman, that's a big card. Munhoz knocks out Garbrandt on the opener of that card, and then he goes to being, like, the opener of the ESPN part of UFC 235, or not 235, sorry, 238. It was like 3 months later. I don't get the decision of that. You could have boosted up Aljo, but whatever. So yeah, speaking of the Garbrandt fight, incredible. Knocks out Cody Garbrandt. A fight he was not supposed to win, but Cody Garbrandt was like, all right, here's my right hand. I know how to throw a right hand, cock it back, boom, let's throw, boom, 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 and Pedro Munhoz got the best of him. Not the brightest idea for Cody Garbrandt. I mean, given now he's focused and he won't do that again, but Munhoz got the better of him in a just a fight where they both guys, again, have a right hand, just keep throwing shots. Okay, right, before that beats Brian Caraway, cool, beats Brett Johns, and then before that we're getting to 2018, loses to John Dodson, close fight, maybe should have won that one by split decision, beats Rob Font, really good performance now, but considering that's 2017, beats Justin Scoggins, now we're getting into a long time, and then before that, we get the Jimmy Rivera fight, split decision fight, a long time ago, it's 6 years ago at this time. Alright, it's a tough fight to call, man, because Pedro Munhoz has a lot of power, and we saw that in the Cody Garbrandt fight, and even the Brian Caraway fight. I know he finished him with the body kick, but still, Munhoz has a lot of power. Jimmy Rivera, kind of the same, but Rivera, again, not going to be the type of guy who's usually going to finish you. His last finish in the UFC was his first fight in the UFC against, his first fight in the UFC against Marcus Brimage. Yeah, this is on UFC Fight Night. Michael Bisping versus, oh my goodness, against Thales Leites. This was a main event this is incredible. This is a main event of a fight night over in Scotland. I mean, if you look at the poster here, you got Michael Bisping, Thales Leites. All right, cool. You got Ross Pearson, Evan Dunham. Then you got Joanne Calderwood fighting on this card, right? You got Joanne Calderwood, and like, it just says Calderwood versus Sanchez, but it's just a picture of Joanne Calderwood. What are we doing? I know it's in Glasgow, but okay. Enough about my old UFC paper or UFC Fight Night rants, but I think Pedro Munhoz is going to get the job done this one. I think the power is going to be too much. I think the striking is going to be too much. It's going to be different than their first fight. And I'm going to go with the Pedro Munhoz knockout one. I think he finally gets back on track. I know he didn't finish Frankie Edgar, which now, yeah, he just got flying kneed by Corey Sandhagen. But I think he's going to be able to do the job in this one. I'm going with the Pedro Munhoz KO finish. Not going to pick a round here, but we're still going to go with the KO finish for Pedro Munhoz. Now we have got Mayra Bueno Silva taking on Montana De La Rosa. Let's start here with Mayra Bueno Silva. So her last fight is a armbar victory over Mauro Romero. It was the armbar finish over on Covington Woodley. Mauro Romero Barella is now out of the UFC, so there's that. Before that, Silva does fight Marina Moroz, loses that one by unanimous decision. Before that, beats Jillian Robertson by armbar, which is a very tough thing to do, to submit Jillian Robertson. And before that, got the job done over the Contender Series. Got a submission in a minute. So obviously, you know where this is going. Mayra Bueno Silva, very good on the ground, very good submission skills. She's, really damn good on the ground. Now, she can get the job done on the feet. Compared to Montana De La Rosa, I would give her the advantage striking-wise, but it's the ground game for Mayra Bueno Silva that is going to win her a fight. But Montana De La Rosa's ground game is also very good. So Silva coming in this fight, record of 7-1. The one loss to Marina Moroz. It's a tough fight, but Marina Moroz is very damn good. I mean, record for her 10-3. She's fought a lot of really good fighters in the UFC. It's going to happen to you when you fight Marina Moroz. The fight you got to point out, though, is the Jillian Robertson fight. Pretty damn impressive performance. The Mauro Romero Barella fight, again, I can't put much into it. I know Montana De La Rosa beat Barella too. That was her last win, but it's just like, Barella's been beat so many times in the UFC. It's kind of expected at this point. But Silva's ground game is incredible. She's got a lot of damn good submissions. Armbar is her favorite submission. Guess whose favorite submission is an armbar as well? Yeah, it's Montana De La Rosa. So both these two probably going to be looking for some arm bars, but Bueno Silva's got a lot more submissions than Montana De La Rosa does. Trust me, she does. A lot of weird angles. I think she's going to be fine off her back. I think she's probably going to want this one off her back. She's going to want this one in her guard. We'll see how it goes down. But yeah, that's Mayra Bueno Silva. Let's talk about her opponent in Montana De La Rosa. So the last fight for Montana De La Rosa was against Viviana Araújo. Again, tough fight for her, but Araújo is a top 10, 7 maybe fighter. It's just a tough fight for her. But You gotta look at the Romero-Barella fight. It was pretty dominant, so again, not much. Andrea Lee fight, it's gonna happen to you. Andrea Lee is, again, top 10 on a losing skid right now, but still a pretty good fighter. The Nadia Kassem fight, put her away with an armbar. I do believe that was on the main card of UFC 234. I could be mistaken, but that card was so horrible. Yeah, it was on the main card. Dude, this guy, like, they expect you to pay $65 for this. Adesanya Silva, incredible fight, don't get me wrong, but Lando Venata was on this one. Ricky Simone, Yaya, Montana De Rosa, and Nadia Kassem. Jimmy Crute, Sam Alvey. That was a pay-per-view card, folks. Oh my goodness. Yeah, De La Rosa got the job done there, and before that beat Rachel Ostovich. Okay, you submitted Rachel Ostovich. Big whoop. And then her first fight in the UFC was a armbar victory over Christina Marks. Now, we have seen Montana De La Rosa get submitted in the past. It's a fight against Mackenzie Dern. It is a rear naked omoplata. You gotta go see it. It's on YouTube. Very weird angle in that one. Dern gets her caught up and then gets her with the omoplata and taps her out. You gotta go see it. That's where I'm concerned with Montana De La Rosa. Her jiu-jitsu is very good. Her wrestling is very good. But Bueno Silva might be able to catch a neck or something and potentially submit her here. I'm just concerned on that part for Montana De La Rosa. Yes, she's going to be able to take this fight to the ground, and I think she probably will. I think she'll probably shoot in for a takedown pretty early. I think Bueno Silva's probably going to allow her to because she's probably going to be wanting to be on her back here. Both these two are going to try to find an armbar. I think that's pretty obvious too. I mean, Montana De La Rosa, all of her submission wins in the last, 5 years have all been by armbar. Same with Mayra Bueno Silva as well. She got a choke though in the Contender Series fight back in 2018. But again, it is a jiu-jitsu fight. It's going to be a grappling fight. It's who's going to be the better grappler in this one. And I'm going Montana De La Rosa. I really think she's going to be able to get the job done in this one. I think she'll be able to wrestle Mayra Bueno Silva in this one. That's what's going to happen. Montana De La Rosa is going to take down Mayra Bueno Silva. And it's just going to be a matter of, can Silva submit her off her back? I don't think it's going to be able to happen. I think Montana De La Rosa is going to be able to avoid some submissions from top. She's going to be able to control the pressure in this one. I think Silva's going to have her moments. It's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a close fight. I'm going to say De La Rosa barely gets it done by decision. Ooh, yeah. This is probably my only underdog pick on this card. I think I might have a couple others, but this is a pretty big underdog pick right here. Again, not very confident in this one. Mayra Bueno Silva, again, could definitely catch an arm or catch a neck in this one and put down Montana De La Rosa with the submission. It definitely could happen, but I'm going to go De La Rosa to get the job done by decision. Not confident at all, but yeah. We're going to go with Montana De La Rosa. So it is now time for the co-main event of the evening. It is Nikita Krylov taking on Magomed Ankalaev. Let's start first with Magomed Ankalaev. So he's coming off those back-to-back wins over Ion Cutelaba. Both of them pretty damn impressive. The second one just left no doubt. The first fight, yeah, I mean, it was an early stoppage. Given Ankalaev was probably going to get the job done anyway, but the second fight really just secured it. All right, Magomed Ankalaev is the better fighter of him and Ion Cutelaba. He put him down and just left him out earlier or late in that first round. The Magomed Ankalaev run's been pretty good so far in the UFC, and I know we lost to Paul Craig his first fight in the UFC. It's going to happen to you. Paul Craig is just a wizard on the ground, pulls guard a lot, got a triangle choke in that fight. It's all right. There was only 1 second left in the fight, and you got the job done. Cool, but Ankalaev comes back, picks up a win over Marcin Prochnow, which, it's Marcin Prochnow, and yeah, I know I beat Khalil Roundtree somehow, but it's all right. After that, he beats Silson Abreu by unanimous decision, then beats Dalcha Champion, gets him with a big front kick 20 seconds into the third round. Big win there, and then of course he got the 2 fights with Ion Cutelaba. Also, he beat Maxime Grishin, who's also on this card, over in 2016. TKO'd him as well. Well, Magomed Ankalaev, his stand-up game is incredible. He's an amazing striker, and I know that's where Nikita Krylov is going to try to avoid. And I know Krylov's stand-up game is not horrible at all, but that just shows you how good Magomed Ankalaev is on the feet. There's a lot of kicks, very good kickboxer, and he can put dudes out, and that's really what Nikita Krylov's got to avoid. He's got to take him down, but we'll get to Krylov in a second here. But it's not going to be like it's an easy task to get Magomed Ankalaev to the ground. I know we lost to Paul Craig, but again, it's Paul Craig, and he's going to do that to you. Ankalaev, very good sambo. He doesn't usually show it because he's got his striking and he's so tremendous on the feet, but also he started off in MMA with his Greco-Roman, with his Sambo. He's a good wrestler. I think he should have all the tools necessary to at least avoid some scenarios where Krylov's going to take him to the ground. It's going to happen, honestly, though, if Krylov pushes him against the fence, tries to drag him down. It probably will happen. Krylov will probably get a takedown at some points in this fight if Ankalaev doesn't finish him early, right? So it just depends. Ankalaev, again, Gotta keep this fight standing and win this one, because we've seen what Nikita Krylov can do to guys by out wrestling them. The Johnny Walker fight. Johnny Walker, incredible striker. I know he lost to Corey Anderson before that, but on a big winning streak, right, before 2 fights before that, right? And yeah, Krylov just grounded him for 3 rounds. And Ankalaev, that could happen to him too. So that's where I'm kind of concerned for Magomed Ankalaev in this fight. Coming into this one with a record of 14 wins and 1 loss. The 1 loss, of course, being the Paul Craig fight. So yeah, that's Magomed Ankalaev, currently the number 11 light heavyweight in the world. Let's talk about his opponent, Nikita Krylov. And the Johnny Walker win over in Brazil last year was a good win for Nikita Krylov. Just grounded Johnny Walker for most of that fight. Got him in the clinch, took him down, kept him down. You gotta get rid of Johnny Walker's incredible stand-up game, and that's what he's gotta do to Ankalaev. It's the same game plan for Nikita Krylov, and I know his stand-up game is good too. He can get some finishes on the feet, but it's got to be the ground game that's going to win in this fight. I know he's been subbed before the past, but Magomed Ankalaev is not submitting Nikita Krylov in this fight. You can go back to the Glover Teixeira fight. It was a close fight. Teixeira barely got the job done by split decision. And hey, Glover Teixeira is the backup next week, I do believe, for the Izzy and Blachowicz fight. He's in line for a title shot next, and that's Nikita Krylov's last loss. Before that, it's a win over Oven St. Preux by rear naked choke, and then before that, it's a loss to Jan Blachowicz, who is the current champion by arm triangle choke. And then before that, he beat Fabio Maldonado over in Fight Nights Global, and Emmanuel Newton as well, the former Bellator champion in Emmanuel Newton, who is just on a terrible losing streak right now. He has not fought since 2017 against Nikita Krylov. But yeah, the former Bellator champion, of course, in Emmanuel Newton. But yeah, Krylov, right? So he goes on, he gets those 2 big wins, goes back to the UFC. The first run in the UFC was so long ago, I mean, it's really not worth mentioning. I'll talk about it a little bit. He beat Walt Harris early in his career. Got him with a head kick in the first round. 25 seconds in. Pretty good win, I guess, right? I mean, Walt Harris is a top 15 heavyweight. That fight was at light heavyweight, I do believe, though, right? Yeah, I mean, he loses to Oven St. Preux. Of course, he gets his win back eventually. He beats De Lima in that first run, beats Ed Herman, head kicks him, loses to Misha Serkinov, and it's his 3rd loss in the UFC. I believe he had like 7 wins. He was 7-3 in his first run, leaves, goes to Fight Nights Global, picks up 3 wins, comes back to the UFC, and they give him Jan Blachowicz, and he loses. So it's been a very competitive run for Nikita Krylov. He's fought a lot of very good fighters, and Magomed Ankalaev is another killer on his resume. Can he get past him, though? That's the question. Again, he's got to take this fight down, and I know the stand-up game for Krylov is good, but Magomed Ankalaev will beat him on the feet, but Krylov will definitely beat Ankalaev on the ground. Another one of these very good stylistic matchups. I'm going to go with Magomed Ankalaev to get the win. I think he will be able to. We're not mentioning the Greco-Roman experience that he does have, and I know being a Greco fighter, having experience in Greco is not going to be able to stuff some takedowns. I know, but you gotta look at the Sambo history. Magomed Ankalaev's ground game, or his takedown defense, is severely underrated in this fight. And I think a lot of people are going to say, well, Nikita Krylov's just going to be able to take him down and probably hold him there. And I know Ankalaev's a big favorite, but the people that are going to say that Krylov's going to win this fight, that's their big talking point in this one. I don't think it's going to happen, man. I think Ankalaev's takedown defense very underrated in this fight. He'll keep the fight standing, and if he keeps it standing, he's probably going to win a kickboxing fight over Nikita Krylov. How does Krylov get the job done? The feet, he's got to land 1 bomb. That's going to be tough to do against Ankalaev. Pretty good head movement Ankalaev does. He'll throw some wild shots at times, like he did in the Cutelaba fight. And I know the first one, I know he won that fight, but the second fight showed, okay, he's a more relaxed fighter. He's going to sit back, he's going to pick his shots, and he put down Ion Cutelaba in the first round. So I think we're going to see more of that from Magomed Ankalaev, considering he is fighting a really good grappler. He doesn't want to go out there and just throw everything and get taken down. So I think we're going to see a very cautious Magomed Ankalaev in this fight. I do think he'll be able to get a finish, though, very late in this fight. I'm going to go 3rd round finish here for Magomed Ankalaev. Say by KO, obviously that's how he's going to get the job done. And yeah, this should be a very good fight. This is probably this is the best fight in the card other than the main event. Very good one. I would not be surprised though if Krylov can just keep working takedowns. I don't think it's going to happen, though. Magomed Ankalaev by 3rd round TKO. Oh, man, it is time for the main event of the evening. What a damn fight. Rozenstruik and Gane. This is the perfect fight to make. You wouldn't expect that they're going to make this fight. 2 guys who are up-and-comers right now in the heavyweight division, given they're 32-30, but still 2 guys who are new to the weight class and sort of to the UFC. And sort of new to the top 10, right? It's a good one, man. Ciryl Gane, Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Let's start first with Ciryl Gane. The last fight against Junior Dos Santos, I took Junior Dos Santos to win. All right, hold up. I know I took JDS to win because that was my big upset pick of the week. I thought there's a chance JDS was going to win. I'm pretty sure I said in the video I probably thought Gane was going to win it, but I took JDS just because he's such a big underdog, so I did it. But yeah, Gane won the fight by a pretty impressive performance. Dominated him on the feet and then got the elbow in the second round. JDS complained that was to the back of the head. Kind of. It really wasn't, though. Gane, good win in that one. The Tanner Boser fight beforehand, just more of the same. Didn't finish Tanner Boser, but a really dominant performance. The Dontel Mays fight and the Rafael Pessoa fight, both of those showed Gane is a dominant force on the ground. He's not just a Muay Thai fighter. I mean, of course, he's got the background of Muay Thai. His ground game is so damn good, man. And that's a problem for a lot of guys in this weight class. And I know Curtis Blades just lost. I don't want to rack on him, but Curtis Blades' stand-up game is good, but his takedowns, like how he lost to Derek Lewis, it was so obvious he's gonna go in for a takedown. He was so far out. He went in for a big double, and he got uppercutted. All right, Gane's a very long, lanky fighter. He's got an 83-inch reach in this one. Rozenstruik's got a 78, 77, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And Gane can use his reach to his advantage in this one. He can work the outside. His kicks, his leg kicks are very damn good. He throws a lot of damn kicks. Some that Jairzinho does some, but Gane throws a lot more kicks than Rozenstruik will in this fight, I can guarantee you that. And the main point in this one that I'm going to make is Gane's ground game. Jairzinho Rozenstruik, we saw Alistair Overeem dominate him for 23 minutes on the ground in their fight. That's a problem with Gane. I mean, I know Rozenstruik's an amazing striker, and if this one stays on the feet, it's anyone's fight. Because I legit think if this fight is a stand-up fight for 25 minutes, flip a damn coin because that's how it's going to end. It could go either way, but the big thing for me in this fight is Gane's ground game. His ground game is so damn good. I mean, you saw him submit Pessoa, submit Dontel Mays with a heel hook at a heavyweight fight, end of the third round, just got one done. He's so damn good on the ground, man. He's very talented. And that's the problem I have with Rozenstruik. You get dominated on the ground by Alistair Overeem. Well, Gane's a guy who's done that before and a lot. And he can get submissions on the ground. So that's Gane. Again, don't let the 7-0 record distract you from the fact this dude's an amazing fighter. He's a top 10 fighter by far. This dude is the future of the heavyweight division. I know he won't fight Francis Ngannou, but we're talking about if Gane wins this fight, he is going to the moon in this division. Do you see a Derek Lewis fight? Maybe. But maybe, again, I'm going to say right now, I think the winner of this fight fights Volkov. But you can't underestimate Bigi boy. So let's talk about Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Now, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, if you remember what I said from last week about the Derek Lewis and Curtis Blades fight, it is the same factor in this one. Gane could come into this fight and just try to out-wrestle Jairzinho Rozenstruik for 25 minutes. But Jairzinho Rozenstruik, no matter how much he's being beat down on the ground, if Gane cannot perform a submission in this one or get a submission win in this one, Jairzinho Rozenstruik will have a chance to win this fight all 25 minutes. This fight's standing for any second. Rozenstruik has enough power to put anyone out. It's a thing. So you can't say that Gane's just going to go out there and it's going to be a dominant performance because, again, Rozenstruik will have that one shot. And it's similar to the Derek Lewis fight, man. With Curtis Blades, Derek Lewis stuffed a couple takedowns in the first round and he was getting beat up pretty bad in that first round. But in the second round, again, it's looking like it's going to be more of the same. Blades goes for the takedown, big uppercut, fight's over. I'm not saying this fight's going to end up exactly the same like that one, but it's the same type of thing. Rozenstruik has so much power, it can happen. And the Jairzinho Rozenstruik fight, his last couple of fights, the JDS win, alright, cool, JDS's chin's gone, but it's a good win. Ngannou, it's gonna happen to you. He's got so much damn power. Ngannou legit closed his eyes, threw 10 punches, put him out. What are you gonna do? Alistair Overeem fight, I talked about that one earlier. Orlovsky put him down in a minute, 30 seconds. Alan Crowder fight, got him with a jab in 9 seconds. Don't know how that one happened. And the Junior Albani fight, more of the same. Head he kicked him, put him down. That's been the UFC run for Jairzinho Rozenstruik. All finishes, man. All finishes for Bigi boy. No one that Gane has fought matches the power of Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I know you can probably say JDS kind of, but JDS's power has kind of gone away in the last couple years. Unfortunately, I'm a big JDS guy, but it kind of has. The Tanner Boser has a lot of power, but nothing on the level of Rozenstruik. Dontel Mays, Rafael Pessoa, get out of here, right? So this is the most power Gane has ever fought in his career. He's never lost a fight, never lost a Muay Thai fight, never lost a MMA fight. Rozenstruik's got all the tools necessary, man. And again, Gane can dominate him on the ground for 24 minutes, but just like in the Overeem fight, Rozenstruik can pop up to his feet, land a big right, and end the night. So there's so many factors in this one, man. And again, if it's a kickboxing fight, I don't know who wins. Gane's leg kicks will be a big advantage for him this one. A lot of kicks he'll throw. I know Rozenstruik throws some kicks too, but Gane is the longer fighter, and he'll definitely be able to throw some more than Rozenstruik will. But again, if it's a pure kickboxing fight, you can flip a coin. But I'm gonna go back to the ground game with Ciryl Gane, and that's why I'm gonna pick Ciryl Gane to win this fight. It is the ground game that he does have, and it's the submissions he can pull off. That's something that Jairzinho Rozenstruik has not fought. Both these guys are very new to the UFC when you think about it. Gane, with only a couple of fights, Rozenstruik's only been fighting in the UFC since 2019. Gane's been fighting in the UFC since 2019 as well. Both these guys are, again, haven't even fought 2 full years yet in the promotion. But Jairzinho Rozenstruik hasn't fought anyone with the ground game Ciryl Gane does have. And Ciryl Gane hasn't fought anyone with the power that Rozenstruik has. But if you can get control on the ground by Oster Ovin for 23 minutes, I think Ciryl Gane's going to be able to do the same. And I think Ciryl Gane has control for 23 minutes into a fight. He's going to be able to get off a submission. And I think that's where we're going to go in this one. Now, if this fight stays, again, I can't stress enough. If it's a kickboxing fight, this is 50-50. I don't know. But I'm going to give a slight advantage to Ciryl Gane if it's a kickboxing fight. I will. I will. His elbows are nasty, like you saw in the JDS fight. Again, with Ciryl Gane, if he's out range, he can throw that jab really nice. He can throw a lot of kicks. If he's in close, the elbows are so damn nasty from Ciryl Gane. The hooks that he throws. But again, Rozenstruik though, a lot of damn power. I can't stress it enough. The overhand right, man, and the uppercuts. His jab is powerful as hell as well. You saw in the Alan Crowder fight. It's such a good fight. One of the best heavyweight fights you can make at this point. It's such a good one, but I'm going to go Ciryl Gane just because of the ground game that he does have. And I'm going to say Ciryl Gane gets the job done by submission in the 3rd round. I think we're going to see a kickboxing fight for the first 2 rounds. I think we're going to see it probably 1-1 going into the 3rd. I think Gane switches it up, uses his wrestling, gets him, submits him, I'll say arm triangle. I think he'll move to half mount and get the job done there. Again, I just don't think Rozenstruik's fought anyone with the ground game that Ciryl Gane has. And it's a big test. Again, this is a big test. Is Ciryl Gane one of the top 10 fighters in the weight class? I think he is. I want Ciryl Gane and Alexander Volkov next. What an incredible fight that would be. The winner of this fight is fighting Volkov. I think that's a pretty obvious decision. So, it's such a good one, but we are going to go with the Ciryl Gane submission win in the 3rd round. And folks, thank y'all for watching this 55-minute long UFC preview and predictions here on the channel. Again, be on the lookout for an Alex Oliveira prediction. If he does get a fight, who knows? But if he does, check the comment section down below later in the week. I'll be making a prediction, probably about 4 sentences. Again, I will make, though, a prediction of Alex Oliveira's fight in the comment section down below. And again, folks, if you have not yet, make sure to subscribe button down below for more UFC here on the channel. Again, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.